Oh God.
And welcome back to another episode of Witty Banter. Is My name is Nabil, and I'm joined with
Can't be
Denial
ridiculous, or...
Denial.
and Hugh Woman, and we have a special guest today, and his name is Ajit Punj.
Should I say it?
Woo!
Can you guys hear me? Now?
Boo.
Welcome, Ajit.
Thank
So I guess we'll just jump right into it. We usually start our program with
Nice.
a little update on our creative endeavors. I will say I made my goal was to upload a couple more chunks of software to show how I write, and I was able to do like two or three. I did say I was going to start applying on Monday. I think I'm going to retract that statement.
Whoa, hold up.
I started YouTubing like interview questions, and they're like, "Yeah, you should be good at like whiteboarding problems." And then I was like, "Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be good at whiteboarding
Well,
problems."
I will say, obviously, one way to help with that is to do with like the online practice. The other way to help with that is just to go for interviews.
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm usually of the latter. I just like to go in, crash
Yeah,
and burn,
swing
and
it.
figure it out.
Yeah, you will be embarrassed. I've been embarrassed many times
I'm
before.
sure I will be.
but-
You do have a funny
damn it.
story
But there's
of
a
that.
pleasure of embarrassment, isn't there?
Yeah.
No.
You get
I
something
don't
to laugh
think
about.
so. We
Darn.
do it anyway.
So yeah, that's my updates.
Oh.
I hear an echo. Let me fix
Yes.
that.
I was just thinking like of when you were bringing up interviews of like embarrassing interview stories.
Oh, let's hear it.
I don't think I have. I don't have one, but I remember the one that Nabil
Yours have
had.
all done very well.
I've done really well in all my interviews.
So I don't have
I'm
any embarrassing
flawless,
stories.
but yeah, I forget. There's that one where like you needed a breather, or the guy asked you.
Oh, Mom, do you? This might be you. Do you have our stream open on your phone or something?
Yeah, I might.
All right, just
Should I
just
take
go
it
ahead
off?
and mute that.
Also, does she have headphones?
Okay.
Because there might be feedback from.
It's not that, because
Okay.
we would hear that instantly. This
Okay.
was like very delayed.
Okay.
1 second.
All right. So yeah,
Is
so
it-
my creative endeavors. Yeah, I was working on code and got some new stuff on my
Is it still there?
got some new repo.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think I closed it.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, that's me. Daniel, any updates on your creative endeavors related to coffee or otherwise?
No.
Very
Alright.
succinct. I like it.
Right up in the mic.
That'll be a hard note.
Yes.
And Anika, any updates with? Are you doing anything creative now that you're in Pakistan with writing?
Well, I'm jet lagged and I'm being inundated with ideas and people I'm meeting with but I guess one of the highlights that's really exciting for me, and I do want to give a plug for this. I don't know if you can see this. It's a book that I've been wanting to read by Muhammad Hanif. It's called Red Birds. And what's really fascinating, it's something that resonates because it connects. I know you wanted to keep this light and optimistic and no politics. So it's not about the politics. It's
Yeah.
about the lightness of it. It's about an American pilot who crash lands in the desert and takes refuge in the very camp he was supposed to bomb. Hallucinating palm trees and worrying about dehydrating to death isn't what Major Ellie expected from this mission. Still, it's an improvement on the constant squabbles with his wife back home. In the camp, teenager Momo's money-making schemes are failing. His brother left for his first day at work and never returned. His parents are at each other's throats. His dog is having a very bad day. And an aid worker has shown up wanting to research him for her book on the teenage Muslim mind. And the book is hilarious. It's got a really nice, witty sense of humor, and it aligns really nicely with our witty banter and understanding those cultural differences and thoughts
Right.
behind
So
it. And I guess how it relates to my creativity is my book has got a perspective of a fly, and he has written chapters from the perspective of the dog. So it is hilarious.
So you're
Highly recommend it.
so you're spending time reading over there, not really doing any writing or anything, or are you always brainstorming about your writing?
I'm thinking, if that counts.
That
I don't
does
have a
count.
hard no like Daniel had, denial had, since I guess the no goes with his name.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm thinking I will be writing soon.
That's good. That's good. Okay. And then our guest Ajit, any creative endeavors that you
No.
These are classified.
Yeah.
Speak on them.
I'm not allowed to speak with these.
fair enough.
Creative? I don't know. How would we classify creative? Is schoolwork creative? Can be.
Whatever you like think, generally something outside of like your work, unless you work, your work is your.
Well, I think that's an important point to address, actually.
Yeah.
The 40-hour work week was kind of inspired by non-creative work, right? Manual labor. But now we're in a point where I think we need to reassess the 40-hour work week so we actually have
That's true.
time for creativity.
Darn
so I
it.
believe work can be creative now.
I
Yeah.
saw
Start a
something about this.
revolution.
What is this, communism?
So here's something I want to check in with you. How many people really work for 40 hours a week? How much of it is actual work?
Yes.
Well, that's how do we define actual work now? Because that was the whole point of
There
the
you
40-hour
go.
work week.
Yes,
right?
because if your mind
Working
is
manual.
working,
Yeah.
is that still work?
I have solved many problems overnight, just like sleeping and I wake up with the solution sometimes.
Yeah, I was tired and I went to sleep and then solved that problem.
Yeah.
Me being tired.
Yeah, my mind works in mysterious ways.
So like you're saying when
So-
you're not at work,
Yeah.
sometimes you
I have better luck doing things like outside of work, or if I like take a little break, distraction for a little bit. That's when I, solve most of the real problems. That's when
Yeah,
the
'cause you're
creativity strikes.
gonna relax and
Yeah, if someone forces me to be in an office for 40 hours, I probably wouldn't do more than 30 hours a week of work or something,
stuff. True.
But if I took that home with me and dissected it when I needed to, like with schoolwork, you have a little bit of flexibility. When I choose to work on it or when I have a time to have a break, then,
Yeah, I agree. I guess
So-
it's hard for employers to probably like if you say like you don't have to work 8 hours a week, and then I guess they have to figure out a way to like
yeah, that's true.
gauge, okay, is this person
Well-
like producing value and like
And
where is it?
It also depends what type of job, because like if it's a job where you're not doing things for that whole amount of time, but you have to be on call if
Right, that's true
like
too.
something comes up.
It's mainly just
So-
results based now, right? Like if you have a task and you get it done,
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter
true.
how long it took you necessarily. Like longer is probably worse in that case, but
I think you
So
can
Ajit,
get
tell
most
us
of everything
more
done
about your
through-
experience, Ajit. You started off giving us the premise,
yeah.
but tell us
Okay.
about what is your creative endeavor?
Okay.
Or do you think it's important to have one if you?
I guess two-part answer, so everyone buckle in.
Yeah.
It all
strapped in.
starts when I was 8 years old.
I know, for instance, when you were more into MMA, you
Yeah,
started like
okay.
your T-shirt business. That was kind of creative endeavor. You started your own blog about
Right,
mixed
yeah.
martial arts.
Yeah, blogs. I wrote for different news sites and stuff, so
There you
that
go.
was yeah, that's a good point. I
But
could
you
do
also
that
wanted
creative.
to code or use your software
Yeah.
engineering for something creative, right?
Exactly, yeah, kind of leverage.
Because you could do that as well.
That's
It
the
doesn't have to
dream.
be like it could be related to your work, but just
Right.
not.
But is there
Exactly.
anything like the T-shirt business that
Well-
you're thinking of?
Well, I do consider like schoolwork and work and stuff like
Part of that.
part of the creative endeavor. But aside from that, yeah, it's a good point. Martial arts. I haven't like trained officially since like high school, but I've been getting back into that. Hitting the bag, doing some cool. But on the rooftop in Bali, throwing some kicks, beautiful weather.
in the air boxing.
But I wanted to formally announce it on the podcast actually that I would love to be a stand-up comedian. So I've been taking,
I have heard this before.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now we're
But nobody
now we're
else has.
cooking.
We
No one
actually
else
did talk
has.
about that in the last podcast about like why comedians do so well on podcasts. Because it
Interesting.
is like similar to stand-up, but
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, just
So would
Having
you want to
things to talk
go
about.
through the route of like preparing an hour of material
Yeah.
and being able to go to rooms
Or
and
just-
like
yeah,
do that
and
stuff?
just see what works. I wouldn't freestyle
Yeah.
it. I've been writing down
hard.
some bits, jokes here and there. I've been. I would like to plug my Twitter too. Let's
ahead.
get me up to 100 followers there.
Go ahead.
Ajit Punj, that's my name.
All right.
got some
whole
good
words.
AJITPUNG.
PUNJ. Whoa.
Oh,
G?
J.
PUNJ. Sir.
As you can
Ajit
see, I'm not so good with letters.
Yeah, you missed a couple letters in the WittyBantr, so.
Yeah, I missed the E. I missed the O.
So Ajit, what's your comedy story? I mean, what do you want to focus on? What's your
That's a good question. Something I need to think about
Is it
some more.
work? Is it personal life? Is it cultural?
I hope to
'cause
make some
you've
nerdy
got that
jokes.
cultural
Nerdy
difference
jokes,
as well.
Oh my god. It's your
I need to
joke.
leave.
It's one of your bits.
Oh, you want to hear a joke, Michael? Michael.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Drama.
I know.
Standing out.
Kidding, of course.
We need
would
some
you be
more depth to the joke as
Do you think
well.
you'd be scared?
I would definitely be scared. I need to
Yeah.
have.
Because I'd be too
I
scared.
realize, I have too much anxiety. That's what's been holding me back from that. Yesterday, I went to a Christmas party. There were 30 people there, and we played a white elephant at gift exchange. I couldn't go up in front of everyone and grab gift. That was too much pressure.
But what's interesting with like stand-up, they usually have like so many.
That's a joke in itself.
Nice.
Michael?
Yeah, actually, Michael, there you go. You could pretty much just walk off the stage, and there'll be another act.
That's
to
true.
Go. So it's like
Yeah.
worst case scenario, like you're choking, you're like, all right, I'm
Right,
out.
yeah. For 5 minutes, just stare
Yeah.
at everyone. The best like advice people give apparently for like stand up is like you just have to go up there and try it, and the best thing you can do is to go up there and bomb. Not literally,
Yeah.
but
We didn't
There we
insinuate
go.
that.
Yeah, no one was.
I saw the
that.
eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'll just do it. Maybe winter
Yeah.
break. I'll just.
So that's
maybe
kind
I
of
just
a
need to push.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Creative
You
endeavors.
you can ask us to be there. I can laugh
I
at
think you would
anything.
want
Yeah,
anyone,
that's what
So
I was
right?
gonna say. Like, what would you guys want if you were to try something out for the first time? Maybe not stand up, but like something you'd want to try in a public eye. Would you
Public
want your
eye?
friends and family there?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Probably
right?
not. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Because like I'm probably
like
gonna
a-
fail. And then-
Yeah, I know. I want to know if I'm good for it.
I don't want people to bring it up. Like,
but
oh,
hey,
no,
but
what's
remember,
wrong?
failure, you get a story then, and that's more,
That's
you
true.
know, material to laugh about. You think, oh, I'm going to be so great, and no, you're not, and that's so hilarious.
Yeah.
But if it's in front of your like friends and family.
Yeah, Michael makes a good point. Michael says he can have Faisal beat up hecklers in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
then
true
that
too.
makes
Could
me feel
have
better.
security. That's
Yeah.
You guys want to laugh at me in a bad way?
you make my friend cry.
Yeah.
You know what? I once went to a comedy show, and it was someone was laughing in the audience. The audience
dear.
laughter made me laugh. You
Oh,
know, so
no.
the comedian. It didn't matter what the comedian was saying. I just could not stop laughing because of the way the other person was laughing. So you could get one of us, you know, all of us to try different laughs, and you know, we would just get the laughter going.
Can you guys make
And
the
you-
crowd laugh? Because I can't.
Yeah. Stats and laugh tracks.
But yeah, other than the stand up and martial arts and stuff, two things I hope to get back into or into in general. But
So-
school is done,
so-
so
Ajit, on that kind of note, I was telling you earlier that my first thing here, the second breakfast in Pakistan was an extremely heavy breakfast of halwa puri, as well as, Daniel, you would love this.
and maybe for some of our
it
viewers we can
was-
explain what halwa puri is.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Me.
Do we need to explain it? Michael, do you know what halwa puri is?
I doubt it.
Well, people could be watching this after.
Have we
Yeah.
never served you halwa puri? Then that's our fault.
One person from Florida who's watching.
Go ahead. Somebody explain it.
It is a wheat-based dessert.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Dessert.
With-
Right?
It's very heavy.
It's actually
It is a-
semolina,
Oh.
Oh.
but that's all right. That's
It
all
is
right.
very,
You can-
it's very Pakistani of a dish, right? Because I know I've had like aloo puri and stuff, but I don't think I've ever had or seen halwa puri on the menu.
Hmm.
Oh, do you not get it in India?
I'm sure you do, but I don't like.
You don't remember having it?
Yeah, I don't normally hear about it. Same with like
Okay.
Nahari,
So-
obviously.
So we also had, not just the halwa puri, but there were all these other deep fry. Everything is deep fried, and
Okay.
a lot of sugar and a lot of spices. And so it was Sunday morning, of course, and we all had this halwa puri and all the extra stuff. And it's apparently a breakfast of kings. And so, of course, as we sat
queens.
in a very kingly way, a majestic way,
Just
thinking of this halwa puri that we had just eaten, and think, how productive were the kings once they had had this very kingly breakfast?
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure kings in general were
since
not
you're
that
our
productive.
guest,
I'm sure kings in general were not that productive.
Actually,
yeah, tell us
King
about
Henry.
it. Yeah, go, keep going.
I mean,
Did a lot of
speaking of
charitable
rulers,
work.
how about-
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a king, you don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? So generally, humans are lazy. So I didn't mean to derail your point. I was just trying to interject.
No. You didn't. I just want to know, Ajit, as our guest, what's the breakfast of a creative person?
So, okay, I'm going to disappoint here. Yeah. I've been intermittent fasting,
Ooh, same here.
which means I'm too lazy and cheap to wake up early. No, when I have to go to school though, intermittent fasting is nice over the weekends because I can just lay in bed until noon, then have lunch straight. But I'm also going to disappoint here because before school, when I need breakfast, I will go with Captain Crunch, and that's it. Some almond milk, maybe, if I'm feeling adventurous. But
you know what though? I mean, starvation does mean. I mean, the starving artist. Where did that come from?
That's true.
If we weren't starving, maybe if we want to be really creative, because nobody buys your work. But we could maybe if we want to amp up our creativity, we need to stop eating.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I agree with just not eating a lot because it clogs you up,
See, I've heard that not eating a lot, or fasting helps with your mental stimulation, productivity. But I've also heard being full will help with that. Gives you energy, carb up, and you can
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
Skip breakfast.
Some carbs in the beginning of the day, and then try and.
I mean, everything's a scam, isn't it? These diets, everything. I don't believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I feel
it just depends on how you live your
life.
I
think it depends day to day too. Some days I'm super hungry when I wake up, and I'll eat.
That's true. You shouldn't eat if you're not hungry.
Yeah, some days I feel like I could just,
I think I don't eat breakfast just out of pure laziness. And
right?
I want to just get out of the house.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah. When you're working and stuff, you just want to leave.
Just screw it.
Yeah.
But
so you revealed a side of you I didn't know. I didn't realize you were such a cynic. Everything is a scam.
Everything is a scam. All is a lie. Nothing is real. Get me out.
Breakfast is a scam, people.
Wake up.
Wake up, sheeple.
I'm Alex Jones.
Yeah. Oh man.
I am very
But you didn't talk a bit about your whole technology related, and I as a layperson, by the way, I looked up the word layperson and it's related to clergy. So I didn't realize. I thought it was just someone who doesn't know, but you're knee deep, or I don't know, chin deep in technology and artificial intelligence. Tell us about what you're doing at Stanford. How are they keeping you busy?
How are they keeping busy? It's a good question. So I went back to school full time in September. Before that, I was doing my master's while working. And I can tell you now that I've started getting grades back and stuff, and I can wrap up. I've wrapped up the quarter. I can reassess now. Being full time is significantly better.
Okay.
I can focus more. I wouldn't say necessarily easier. There were some days that were definitely more stressful than when I was working and doing school too. But being able to not have to focus on work and then school separately, which is why it was one of the reasons why I chose to do work and school at the same time. I thought doing one class at a time and having work and being able to separate the two would make it easier on me, but that was not the case. I feel myself being more creative and not even necessarily productive, but I can think clear now that I'm just doing school again.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just doing it to get it done.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that I used to do it to get it done.
Wouldn't you get so exhausted after work?
Yeah, I think it was more that just I didn't want to just finish something up. I was trying to get more out of it, but I was so exhausted that I had to make certain sacrifices. But I took this is just buzzword classes. I took hardware accelerators for machine learning this quarter. Right.
Hardware accelerators. Okay.
That was the class that drove me to go back.
So
to
give me the cliff note for that class.
Okay,
what's it about?
Yeah. I told Daniel a lot about this in Bali, and how long did that conversation take? 2 hours.
That was very long.
Oh, well, we got time.
Well, we have at least 50 minutes, I guess.
Let me condense my whole life experience into 5 minutes. Let's do this. All right, so I graduated from Davis in 2015. That's where the love started. I did electrical engineering there, but it was focused more on I did more computer science classes than was required of us for EE. I focused more on computer engineering, which is a relatively new field, I feel like. It's a branch of electrical engineering. What it comes down to is basically computer architecture. I did research in computer architecture. So what's interesting is for a long time it's been Moore's law was dominating, Dennard scaling, which says
Moore's law is the one that's technology gets twice as fast every 6 months or something.
Number of transistors doubles every approximately 2 years, 18 months.
Say that again.
The number of transistors in a chip will double approximately every 2 years.
What is the significance of a transistor?
Transistor is the fundamental building block, and they go down like atomic level now. So like we're at like 14 nanometer.
And that is like the basic block of computing.
Yeah, it's like a switch. It's like a on-off switch basically.
0-1
and you make
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what binaries. The representation.
Now, can that law, can it not be changed and that whole process be accelerated?
Well, that's what's interesting. So that's where for like CPUs, right? Especially in like 2005 and stuff, you would notice every year you could get like a faster computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's because like the number of transistors would double, so the speed would double. Your power, like Dennard scaling says that your power will stay effectively the same when you scale transistors. That's dead now too.
Wait, Dennard's scaling? Say that again.
Dennard scaling.
What is it?
It's you're calling me out here, man.
No, I don't know.
It's
That's
like
what I'm asking.
it basically has to do with like the power budget of a chip. Like you can keep the power the same, but get more out of it.
Gotcha.
That's effectively.
Remember,
dead.
I'm role playing the layperson because otherwise I know everything about everything.
So we won't get too deep into like the transistor level. Let's go with the higher level perspective, like a CPU in general, right?
Okay.
It's a very general purpose. You can, that's why like your computer, your laptops, your desktops will have a CPU because it can do everything.
Right.
And they made single thread I guess application performance very, very good in a CPU.
Right.
And GPUs came along, which are good at like again generalized compute, but more parallel like computations.
Okay.
Very arithmetic.
Two
heavy,
things
like,
at the same
parallel.
time or whatever.
So that worked well for graphics, and people started using like crypto mining and all like AI workloads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're at a point where like CPUs aren't getting much faster. Now we have like multiple cores, but
there's also it doesn't demand as much, at least at the consumer level, right? But maybe at
like you can make one processor for everyone, which
right.
When you say demand, did you mean like?
I think he means is this everything you're talking about and all the improvements? Mainly the enterprise customers are taking advantage of this, or consumers are they?
Like they definitely made like data center CPUs and stuff. So what's interesting is the demand is now calling for just faster and faster compute, which like CPUs, GPUs. So there's a spectrum now. If we think about like this is one of the main important things of like computer architecture that I've learned is CPUs are okay. So if you have a graph of like power efficiency versus like programmability, right? And like just like performance versus like programmability and stuff. You have a CPU on one end of the spectrum, which is extremely programmable, but not very like energy efficient. You don't get high performance, especially like for certain workloads.
And programmable is like what a human can, how much advantage or value they can extract
fixed function versus like telling it to do something.
So what were the two things were programmability and
like energy efficiency or performance.
Energy efficiency. How would that relate to in human terms?
Ooh, this is not something I've
I thought I was talking.
I just want to kind of share with you on the plane. You know how the flight is long. I was going from San Francisco to Istanbul, and it was a 14-hour flight. So this is I love those long flights because and seeing so many movies. One of the movies which I had not anticipated was about Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein.
Oh.
And, I feel that she's the precursor of science fiction. And the reason I was asking you about the comparison with humans is, the whole creation, that Frankenstein creating a human or bringing a human back to life, or the artificial intelligence relates to, a machine versus a human being. That's kind of the context I'm asking you. How does this relate to my life? What's happening in your world?
Yeah, I'll break it down in terms of that then. So what we started off was like the technology aspect of it. So the computer architecture behind it. It's interesting because it's shifting, right? So now the workloads that are demanding compute power are like machine learning, AI. So to answer your question in a long-winded way, we have
take your time. We got time. Trust me.
Perfect. We have these algorithms that have been around since like the 60s and 70s, but compute is what's driving the advancements right now in like AI and machine learning. So we have all these algorithms that just couldn't be run effectively. We see these models that are being scaled like 10-fold, 100-fold per year and getting way better results. And what are the results for? Like self-driving cars, language translation, things that help you. You would use AI in a way that you wouldn't expect right now. Like it's in everything, but when we think of AI, we think like, robots that are like humanoid or like fully self-driving cars and stuff. There's like you can apply. It's basically just glorified statistics at this point, and we're trying to get to the point where it's like completely generalized knowledge. But what we had before, and my professor called it software 2.0, this way of like describing, like having learning algorithms, right? Versus like algorithmically programming, functional based programming, like everything is defined. We want to have like more generalized compute, but those are done with like neural nets and different kind of machine learning algorithms that are being developed right now, but they're run on the same hardware as the generalized computes, like the CPUs, the GPUs, and now we're seeing a shift in computer architecture where no longer are we just trying to make a general purpose CPU and scale it and get better power and speed out of it. We're seeing specialized architectures. So generalized versus specialized. You see, like on that spectrum, you have CPU can do everything, but not super effectively, right? Versus if you want to you can have a fixed function ASIC, which is on the complete other end of the spectrum. It's really good at what it's designed to do, but you can't make it do anything else. And that's very expensive.
I'm going to ask you to stop here for a second, because maybe Michael can sense the humor of, me. My eyes are glazing over now because I'm a bit confused. And so could you simplify it even further for me and say,
I can.
In 2 years, you'll be able to do this, which you can't even anticipate, think about now.
Exactly, yeah. So now with this new hardware architecture where we can run compute more effectively, right? If you have something that would take days to run on a CPU, you can do it in hours on a more specialized processor, let's call it, or more specialized hardware. So I can buy
on Amazon with one click. Can I just think about something and we'll be able to buy it? Is that how my life will change?
That's one way, yeah, sure. Self-driving cars is another way. The thing is, like, this is gonna, in my mind, it's gonna unleash like a whole new level of creativity to the world, because everyone will have access to like machine learning. You won't need to know how to set up like a cloud instance or run like an FPGA or something to, you could just, and you won't need to necessarily know like the high level, like the machine learning algorithms or anything. When it's like deepfakes is something you can do right now. You can like, pull from GitHub, I think, this deepfakes repository, and just train like a neural net to replace faces in a movie. Anyone right here could do with a little bit of setup and a powerful enough computer, I guess.
So we could all make our own movies, these dramatic Revenant style movies.
I mean, you could take like a scene and put Daniel's face in it, right? You could take Tom Hardy in his favorite movie and replace it with Daniel's face.
Rather than like putting it in.
I think it's
it's automated CGI.
It's hard to.
I think it's relatable to like maybe like creating your own website, right? So when HTML first came out, you had to know a lot to get a website up and running. You needed to know how to get the server up.
That's a really good analogy.
But now it's like the back-end stuff is being handled so that the layperson can just kind of sign in, put their name, and then a lot of that drag and drop stuff.
And the layperson can continue being a layperson.
Yes, exactly. And actually that's...
so the heavy lifting is done by others.
Yeah.
Like the hardware is thought of, the full stack connection from the end user of wanting to do something down to like making it effective, making it available to you, is like a whole new. So that's what like the hardware is doing now. It's doing the heavy lifting.
So that's the bright and shiny part, and we're all cynics here. What's the negative? What's that? What did I say earlier? The fatal inspiration, something that looks really good, but it's gonna crash.
I mean, AI is like, it's being debated all the time. Elon Musk and everyone has their own opinion on it, and Elon Musk's like, we need to regulate AI. You have no idea like the power that it holds and stuff.
What is Ajit's opinion on it?
One thing that's interesting is biases. So everything, machine learning is glorified like statistics, like I said, at this point, but it all is based on data. What they say is garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have good data, you're going to have garbage coming out. And everything, like, so biases are like inherently introduced based on like data sets. So I think it was some big company around here, one of the tech companies, they tried to like, based on applications they received and who got hired, they trained a model to like take in this input data, train on it, like what did the applications have? They dissected in like features, and then they said like who got hired, and obviously the results were like predominantly men. So in this model, like how do they hire? How do they select people? It was just churning out men.
Oh, so that's terrible. That's awful.
Because that's where the bias was introduced from the data set. So
that's going
bias
backwards.
is going to be the fatal, like, and that's like they have ethics of AI. Like if you're in a self-driving car, and it like someone has to like, do you protect the passengers or do you hit?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Could you swerve off the road and hit someone and save the passengers, but you would probably kill that person?
Yeah.
What does the car decide? What would you decide?
Yeah.
Well, I think everyone have a different opinion here.
I would say save the passengers.
Save me.
If I'm buying a car, of course I want to get saved.
Yeah.
And if what's interesting to me is like if every car then has the goal to like save the passengers, if you're in like a head-on collision and if they weren't like in sync on that, like, oh, I need to save the passengers, I need to save the other people, like maybe they could make weird. So that's going to be one thing that's like interesting. I mean, all these things are, and government can't keep up with like regulations either.
Yeah.
So tech companies are going to be the ones to just start it and try it out. I feel like
that brought me up, or that
So
reminded me of
now
the
I
whole
want
Google.
to know go ahead, Daniel.
I was gonna say, like, when you were saying like government can't keep up, like, who is the CEO of Google?
Sundar Pichai.
Yeah, he went like to go discuss with Congress, or they put him on trial or whatever. And one of the congressmen was like, so why does my iPhone do this? He's like, Senator, that's a different company.
I also heard he was like, someone called him out, like, why are all these search results about me negative or something?
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Why does Trump show up when you type idiot on Google Images?
Are you like manually doing that? Like, do you have someone sitting
He
there?
literally said like, there's no one sitting.
No man behind the curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
But people are very uninformed about this too. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it could be an issue with like, stock trading, because like the ethics of being able to predict, buy and sell, without having like any knowledge of the.
That's true. I see AI
that
being applied in
cheating,
the financial market a lot too, just in general.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you want the cynical answer, I don't think humans' role in this is gonna matter. Like I think we're inefficient, so we're gonna die out eventually, and then AI will be the replacement. And we were just watching Westworld, and kind of, okay, spoiler alert, but you should have already seen this.
Hey, whoa.
Which one?
No, not for you. Just whatever the episode we saw. This is up to episode 2, season 2. The two creators of this Westworld have basically made themselves what do you call it? Like live forever. They can move from host to host, their consciousness. So I think that's probably going to be the result in like way down the line. I'm talking like 5,000-10,000 years or whatever.
But even like if AI.
So I think our human biological bodies are going to be like useless. So
Yeah.
That's my cynical thought on the
matter. So is that the comedy in it? Is that what your stand-up would be about? Us living for 500 years and thinking, God, I would die.
Yeah. Talk about hardware acceleration.
So let me guys heard about this hardware acceleration?
I think hardware acceleration. I think my comedy would be completely independent of like my background, my education.
Dude, that would actually be really niche, is if you start making jokes like
Yeah,
software
right?
related
Yeah,
in Silicon Valley.
That's true too.
We gotta make good
like,
ones,
make
though,
it-
not
yeah.
cheesy ones.
Yeah,
right? Like, I think
don't
I
know
would
how
like
you
to
do
talk
it.
about. I don't know.
You have a very specific audience too. Though.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think you could just go to any comedy club.
Yeah.
That's true.
You just have to be on the internet.
You'd have to
or
let
something.
everyone know.
Some nerdy
like-
jokes for sure, but yeah.
Yeah. Or else no one will look at you.
Yeah, right. But I think my comedy would be more just like life experiences, not necessarily excluding school, but a little bit of everything. I wouldn't want to be typecasted as like nerdy comedian right away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't want to.
With nerdy
since
Indian
I can't
jokes.
see the streaming comments, have we lost our 3 audience members from last week? I mean, are we becoming more exclusive now?
I think Michael's in here. I mean, it's only episode 3. I don't think we should expect.
Wait till
I think
episode
we're
100.
becoming really
yeah.
exclusive.
Yeah.
This is good.
As I say when we play video games, expect to lose the first 100 battles, and then you'll win one, and then you'll lose another 100.
Nabil's pretty wise.
Start reevaluating after 100.
Yes, I've learned from my
Actually,
defeats.
this was one of the topics I was thinking of too. Was how do you guys take feedback? So, like, for example, for
Very
resumes,
negatively.
Don't give me any feedback.
I don't want to hear.
I don't want criticism.
I'll leave.
But like for resumes, for example, like whenever you ask someone, "Oh, hey, could you take a look at my resume?"
Dumb.
Everyone has something different.
Yeah.
I
Same
went
thing
through
with like your creative endeavors. Do you ever ask someone only if they're, or do you just like, I'm just gonna do it?
I don't think it matters, because generally, if you get feedback, it's from someone who doesn't even care enough about the thing that you're trying to create anyway. I think you just gotta dig deep. You can take their reactions, like, man, that sucked or whatever.
How do you like distinguish when someone's just trying to, if someone's like, actually trying to help you versus like they have their own inherent bias in them too?
I think naturally it takes a very smart person to kind of give you objective feedback. I think a lot of the time it's very much like, well, this is what I think is a good idea. That doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Or like they want to like steer you the wrong way,
Yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, do you think there's
malicious?
Michael. Yeah. But unless they're specialized in what you're trying to.
I think it's up to you. You don't need too much feedback. Just try and figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I always say my best advice is don't listen to anyone. Don't take.
Yeah, I agree.
Not even yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, just think about the first people of any field.
Yeah.
Like the first person to
walk on the moon. What does he know?
Exactly.
Wait, do you think people actually walked on the moon?
Yeah, they did.
Do you think that actually happened?
Neil Armstrong. Oh,
Ajit's a moon conspiracy theorist.
Drama.
Yeah, I think there's video
Moon is
evidence.
flat.
I think it's video.
But yeah, I just always think of like the first person to create anything. It's like they had no one task.
Yeah, true.
And they're geniuses.
So there wouldn't be one person you could think of that like, oh yeah, that's good feedback. I'm gonna implement that.
Maybe, but if it was that obvious, well, yeah, sometimes it helps. Sometimes you're so involved in something that you need to take a step back, and that person who's giving you feedback is already from the outside. So,
I mean, everyone's different too. Like their feedback could be really good for people like them, but like show it to me, and I'd be like, no, this is.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think everything has a certain amount of like luck to it, right? Like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like applying to colleges and stuff, right? Or applying to a job, it's like.
And from just experience.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
So in the end, you have to make your own decision.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's always better for you, just internally.
Okay, so on that note, I have to quote that verse that I love so much by that famous poet Ghalib.
All right.
And it translates to this: when there was nothing, there was God. When there will be nothing, there will be God.
Okay.
My being has destroyed me. What would I have been if I had not been in existence? Basically, we're all mini gods, or maybe major gods.
Yeah, but I think life's way more complex than that. I think the idea of
what do you mean?
The idea of God is a very locally. How do you say this? It's a local variable, and it comes from humans, and I think that's just, I don't know.
Well,
I just
that's
think that,
the point. The humans create.
Yeah, that's fine for like us on Earth right here, but like I don't know. I just think that the life is very complex that we can't even comprehend it. Is what I'm trying to say. So if we keep increasing our computational power, maybe eventually down the road we'll be able to comprehend these things that are so complex that currently our little human brains can't even understand. It's like, think about the idea of like seeing a new color. You know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's true.
What if I told you like, here's a color, it's a brand new color that no one's ever seen.
That's like those, what is it called? Mantis shrimp or something? Mantis shrimp? Something.
Is that a color?
There's like
like a deep sea fish or something?
No, there's not even deep sea, but like I think there's like a type of shrimp that can see many more colors than us.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, what is color?
I hope that's not getting extinct. How do they... Now, that's fascinating. How do they know what the shrimp can see?
Right? Yeah, that's like a philosophical question, isn't it? Like, how do we know that the green that Daniel sees is the same green I see?
That I'm pretty sure is like we don't see the same color. Like, it's always like
different. No, but like, what if like what I see as blue is his green? You know? Like,
oh, like that?
Yeah. That's like a philosophical.
Well, we can almost prove that.
Yeah. Now we can prove it. Like, all right, we all see blue. Yeah.
No, but like, what if I see it as like? I see it as blue, right?
Correct.
We all agree this is brown, but like I see it a different way than you see it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
No.
Really?
This is brown.
It's yellow. Like, I'm not listening to you guys.
You guys don't know.
This table is blue. Well, it's like that the what do you call it? That white and gold dress picture.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Mom, you ever heard of that? It's like this thing.
Which one?
It's online.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is it white and gold or
it depends on how your eyeballs like I don't know.
Perceive it.
Yeah, and then so like to some people it's like
blue and black,
and others it's like white and gold.
But yeah, you were back on what you were saying.
But yeah, I just think that
God or
just anything right now that we can come up with it's not gonna be the answer.
Yeah.
Will they ever
There's
be
not
at
even
there?
a point. There's not a point of even solving that. Solve the closer questions first, and then we'll get to that when we become like a type 3 civilization.
The computation thing though, like genome sequencing and stuff, that is all done through like computational effort and stuff. So yeah, what will we understand?
Right. And before computers, we obviously wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even be able to comprehend that we'd be able to do that stuff.
Right. Exactly.
So those questions to me are
Yeah.
just like I don't know. It's pointless.
So you don't feel that creative element that's it. This is it basically.
No, I do believe so. I mean,
that's what they are.
On a more positive note, I do believe that like
his point was really, at least the way I see it, his point was there is no God. It's all within us.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I agree that like we are like gods in ourselves, and then like that should give you motivation to like go about and do things that you want to do. And
you just don't like the definition of the God in there.
Oh, you don't like the mentioning of God. Basically, he's saying
I think it's like
a limited.
It's limiting. I think it's tied to so many old thoughts that like
it's not even used.
It's not even. There's no point. But I mean, but generally, yes, I agree with that author's
testament.
That's.
Yeah, remember he was back in the 18th century, and
Now that actually is impressive. Like if you think about like Galileo and whatever, all these like philosophers, Plato and old scientists, like how they were able to come up with this stuff with no technology, and they just thought about it.
Telescopes.
And then it took like years for like the world to like make use of their like findings and stuff. Yeah. But I think that's just random. So it's like.
Is it random? Are there places where it's kind of like what we were talking about? When do you have the urge to be creative?
Yeah, when I'm rested.
Because that's kind of you have to have that urge to do something different than the monotony of the day-to-day life. So at some point somebody thought, this is not good. I want to do something different.
Right. I think there's just like variables that need to align for every person to like get them in the zone of like feeling creative. I think there's like that tree or whatever, upside down pyramid or something where it's like, or actually I think it's right. Where it's like there's just like layers like to get to creativity. Like first you need to like have food taken care of, and then like shelter. And then there's like layers to it, and then
But didn't we just earlier contradict that and say, the more you eat, the less likely it is you'll be, so is there a balance of what that
but like enough to survive.
Enough for sustenance.
You need
enough to survive.
So some food, and then shelter, and
as
then
long as it's vegan, whole range, and free range, whole grain.
And then time, the most valuable currency. You need some time.
Time.
So if you're always working, that's like
rosemary and thyme.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a place where there's a big difference in time expectation, not just the time as in I'm talking to you at 4:00 in the morning versus 4:00 in the afternoon. It's that the whole concept of the 9 to 5, the coming on time. There's a different perspective on the usage of time. So there are plenty of people who have plenty of time.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
Some people just don't have the motivation. Yeah, I mean, some people. There's all those variables too. The whole, just your perspective on life and what you want to do. And even if you have creative ideas, like executing those ideas is like a lot of work. And
if you guys had all the time in the world, right? You just could do anything. Would you guys think you just get bored of sitting around watching TV and stuff, and you'd want to do something?
Oh, definitely. Because I've done stuff where like
everyone's like that.
2 weeks.
Like a certain point of time where everyone's like that, or
I think some people find.
Before you answer, Nabil, I want to ask Ajit. I have a feeling he's never done that.
Oh,
have you never just binge watched and done nothing else?
No, just call it like 1 month. Because 2 weeks is like you can get 2 weeks vacation, but 1 month.
I am very excited because I have a 3-week break finally. Like school breaks, like winter break and stuff. I would just kind of unwind. Most of the time I would travel and stuff. So this break I am just looking forward to sitting around doing nothing and seeing like what happens. if I go crazy, if I start working on something else. But I've had some chances where like took some time to travel, and I took some time off from like work and school and stuff and travel.
But you were still doing stuff.
Yeah, I was still doing stuff. Exactly.
I still count traveling.
I know I get bored immediately though. Yeah. Like after 2-3 days.
So Nabil, what were you saying? Vegetating.
I was saying it gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I could probably do it. I mean, I definitely could do it longer than Ajit, but even I will get bored as well.
Competition, homie?
Yeah.
We fighting?
I'm better at Ajit being lazy.
I am the lazy god.
Superior lazy man.
How dare he? Calling me out.
But yeah, eventually I would get bored too. But yeah, I think some people find different vices so like, there's alcoholics and drug addicts, and they'll use that stuff. That's like doing stuff because you escape the boredom. So it depends
on having a clear mind too. Like actually being able to do nothing would help so much. Like that's when
I
feel
agree.
my most productive or like.
Yeah, it's like cleaning your slate and you're like, all right, I'm fresh start, level 1, fresh start.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel like it's good to have a few days of just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Often, but
I would say 3 months or higher.
Yeah.
It's a danger zone.
3 months, you think?
After, when I was thinking of like after college, I was traveling and doing stuff, so I was still, I guess, occupied. But after that period of like, I'm at home,
right?
I'm working out, and then like, now what?
Yeah. Working out is doing something too, like it's like. Yeah,
even that's
if that's what you,
But I don't know. I don't think it's.
Like you can get really deep into working out, then that's another thing you could just do.
Yeah. Which I'm always wondering, like, is there a point in time like where you're retired, but like.
Yeah, most people who retire come back, whether it be fighters, where I've seen that a lot, or like
as a talk show or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too, and like even fighting.
Here's what I'm wondering. Today's guest is hyper engaged, very kind of fond of doing stuff. It sounds like we need to have someone who is retired as our guest next time to get that perspective.
I wonder who that could be. Well, our next guest is going to be Faisal, but then after that can be a retired person who we will name unnamed for now.
Yeah.
Keep it juicy.
Yeah. A secret guest.
Yes, he may. Yes.
So I also wanted to something that I was thinking about what Nabil you've been doing in creating music. You use a term for it. I don't remember what it's called.
No, that's fine. Music production. Music production.
Music. Yeah. So you've been working on that, and I was thinking for this podcast, should there be a theme, or should there be a kind of vibe of a theme of as we open or close, of the music that you've created?
For one, I haven't been creating music recently. It was a long time ago.
You use one of your old beats.
I'm more interested in automated music.
So talk about that now.
Machine learning. I know this.
Like there's some, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, software kits out there that you can just run, and you put some variables in there and it'll generate some music.
Yeah, you can do it with like images and stuff too. Google's Daydream or something, right? Like you can like feed an image through this and it'll come out like all kind of distorted.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
You can like make people's faces and stuff.
So that might be cool to mess around with that. Would we want to mess around with that live on stream, or should I have that prepared beforehand?
You should stream it on your Beely Dev account.
Yeah. In the Beely Dev, yeah. But fair enough.
And I think it would be probably really interesting to get a musician's perspective. And Amir, did you see his recent? Do you call them riffs on guitar? We should maybe have him come on and get a true musician's perspective.
That's true.
When I say true, it's someone who has studied for quite a few
shots fired
years.
Against Nabil, a true musician.
Well, I'm not a musician.
No.
I'm a programmer. I'm not a musician. I'm a programmer. Yeah, no, that'd be a good idea.
And like with the intro, like WittyBantr.
This is a
what?
This is a WittyBantr podcast.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. I mean, as long as I don't have to do a lot of work editing and stuff.
Maybe we can have the guest submit some songs. Do the work for us.
How about you have like an intro poem?
Yeah.
Every week.
Does that indicate the laziness of people?
Yes.
By asking
this all sounds like
the
a lot
guest
of work.
Yeah,
We'll
but that's
cancel
cool.
the
'Cause we're not
podcast
doing
now.
it.
This is the last episode, guys.
Yeah.
Or
As far as
we don't have to.
as far as structure.
Go get some mold.
We don't have to.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask our guest's opinion. Do you think this podcast should be more structured? Because like we didn't come in with any like things to talk about, or do you think we should just riff stuff?
Wait, we don't care what other people say, right? Or
No, I know. But I care about what Ajit has to say. Our guest here.
We're not narcs.
yeah. Oh, Ajit, you're asking Ajit.
Yeah, I'm asking Ajit.
Okay,
I thought you were asking.
You don't care what
the guest.
people
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone out there?
Anyone
Okay.
else?
Yeah. What do you think?
I would say the most structure you should have is like having like sections to visit, you know? Like current events or something like, oh, we got to get some current events.
Gotcha.
Like that's usually the structure I see. I would say you just riff though, you know?
Yeah, I
Maybe
agree.
have some stuff that you think about throughout the week that you want to like.
Talk
I feel like
about.
it should be very natural. Like you see things throughout the week and you're like, oh, this would be cool to like talk about, and then.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Because sometimes it's like a topic you might not want to, or you're
And
not as
just-
engaged.
And I'm not trying to work too hard on this because
Yeah.
I gotta get a job and stuff.
I got other things to do.
Got bills to pay. Well, I'm just happy you guys invited me because I also needed a job. So, you know, I needed the money today for being on this podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very grateful for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're above
sure.
money here, Ajit. It's not about, nothing is about the money. We just have too much money. We don't need any more and we don't give any.
No, that's true.
But I do want to quote on that topic of should we have topics. So Safan put on, when I posted this on Facebook, he said, witty banter is like wit jazz, emergent. You never know where things will go.
Yeah, ooh,
So-
that's a good one. Ooh, we're gonna go ahead and take that.
Copyright. 2018.
Yeah, you do love stealing ideas, Nabil.
Yeah.
Let's address that issue on the
Well,
podcast.
don't talk to me then.
Don't talk to me.
I know how
Bringing
to.
it up live.
I know how to keep humans away. You just take their ideas.
Isolate.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel sometimes with something an endeavor like this, is it an endeavor or is it just entertainment for ourselves? Because rather than sitting at 4 o'clock watching TV, we're entertaining ourselves by having a witty conversation, or at least what we think is witty.
Yes.
But we'll have to revisit our definition of wit. But I was thinking, how you have a package of materials, you have a website, you have logos, you have music,
Yeah.
How do we question that expectation that we've internalized of when you have something like this? How do we make sure we don't package it the same way like everything else?
Yeah. Well, I've
And
already
does it need
made some of the
packaging?
logo stuff, all that witty banter font stuff. I mean, I literally went to Google Fonts and found like some cursive thing. It's free, don't worry. I look at all the licensing.
Google's already using your
Do my homework.
using their AI
We got
learning.
him.
Yeah, we got them.
Yeah, and I think in general,
Ladies
like,
and gentlemen.
if people are listening to podcasts and stuff, the artwork stuff kind of, I don't really pay attention to it that much as a listener of other podcasts, so.
I think you guys
Yeah.
nailed it on the last episode, though. You need a soundboard. You're going to need a soundboard.
Soundboard?
Yeah.
I could easily plug my phone in into this
There we
mixer
go.
and have like, but do you think that'd be too cheesy? I thought it'd be funny at first, and now I think,
Yeah, it might be cheesy.
I think you can do it tastefully.
basically,
Yeah.
well-timed,
Yeah, well timed. With, like,
sound.
relevant things,
and
like,
good
Yeah.
audio quality on it,
Yeah.
I think. A lot
Now,
of-
remember, just 10 minutes ago, we said any feedback you get is always very subjective.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
But
taking
in
it with
this
a grain
case,
of
we are
salt.
trying to feed an audience that is similar to us, right? So. I
Yeah,
would
that's
say.
true. I think our priority is us first, and the audience is like, we care 10%.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Ajit has to say, how he defines the us.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. When I said that, I was like, shouldn't have said.
What? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Who is the us?
Michael. Who is us? Yeah, you guys, not me. No, just like similar people. Like we all get along.
I think
All of us in
I
the
think
room,
moderates.
people in the chat. Yeah, like just similar people with similar mindsets. I
Yeah.
guess.
A bit of a sense of humor, a bit
yeah,
of a...
right.
People can vibe
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
You can,
don't take
you
life
can
too
disagree.
seriously.
You can
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
You can
You
be
realize everyone has
funny.
an opinion. You can change your mind. You're willing.
Yeah.
You're willing to
There
say,
we go.
"Oh, I don't know."
No
enough
one
about
will
this,"
hold
or
it
"I'm
against
wrong."
you, yes.
Yeah, right. Like a safe space.
Safe
for
zone.
us to-
Safe zone.
I'm scared of the outside world.
And we will laugh when someone gives a signal that this is a time to laugh, so that we'll make them feel good, or not, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like an audience laugh track, or not even laugh track, just like a applause thing. Makes you feel like.
We were gonna have one with a boo, like boo.
Yeah. Yeah, then we were gonna
boo
you. We were gonna go boo.
Boo. Like everyone. Record us all booing. Or you guess. Boo. That would have been good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having no expectations of this is the best. Like, even if we, like, let's say we ran out of things to talk about for 5 minutes, we could just sit here and just, like...
comfortable silence.
Exactly. I don't want the stress of, like, gotta be on, gotta entertain, keep on dancing.
Woo, woo.
Cardinal, start dancing. This is silence.
Exactly. I don't want to have to, like, feel stressed to, like, fill silences and stuff, so... Yeah. And nobody's paying me to do this, so...
Wait. Really? I thought.
Yeah. Or that we know.
Yeah. Didn't you say that you were?
Somebody's paying us and we don't know?
I'm paying.
So speaking of filling out empty silences, we got 5 minutes left.
Until
we've been riffing for 55 minutes.
Enjoy this empty silence.
And now.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Who is that?
Someone's
did you want us to have a moment of silence? Is that what you wanted? I don't know what you wanted from us.
I didn't, but then
we just said silence in general, not a moment.
So,
in every podcast.
So I just want to, I've talked to a few people about what we're doing, and one suggestion was if you just got Aisha, Khala, and Osman on, you'd have thousands of followers. So if you're looking for followers, that's something. Next week maybe I will be at Aisha's house, and we'll try and get them on, at least get them online to add some comments.
Okay.
So that's where I'll be going, and I do need to get away from. I need to keep reading, but I will also do some work on my writing creatively.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I know we're kind of wrapping up, and what we did last time. What are the plans for the next week in our creative endeavors?
Yeah, and I may or may not apply on Monday. We'll see how I feel. I still want to. Yeah, I'm gonna open that up. I closed it last week. I'm gonna open that box wide open. And it feels more comfortable. So we'll see. What?
Maybe we should do some practice interviews then.
Yeah,
mock interviews.
probably.
Mock interviews, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So you can just make fun of me all day.
No, you'll
Healthy
be
embarrassment.
You'll be serious.
I'll be good.
Oh, he'll be getting material for his stand-up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he'll steal ideas back.
Yes, there we go.
Mutual stealing of ideas.
I'm owed.
So what is Daniel's plan, and what is Ajit's plan for the next
creative endeavor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I'm not pursuing anything actively, so.
Anything? No updates with the coffee stuff. You don't want to experiment with coffee.
Yeah.
Ooh, what about?
I guess. We said we were gonna do the.
The Grom.
Actually, that's actually one thing we've been. That's creative. Yeah.
Yeah, we did some stuff yesterday too.
They installed a tow hitch.
Yeah, tow hitch.
Very safely, might I add.
Very safely with the proper.
So he can tow his motorcycle, the Grom.
Yes. That I have no license for.
And now why can't you just ride the motorcycle?
All right, that's for next podcast. I have no license, but I need to change the tires out and upgrade it fully. So I guess that's my creative endeavor for now. Coffee's on pause, but actually that would be the tool I use to transport the coffee. So
ooh, interesting.
Coffee around.
Multifaceted.
Yep.
Multi.
Oh,
multi.
Multifaceted.
I meant like a malt.
Multi.
I'm hungry. Multi.
Can we get Habit Burger after this? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. All right.
Popeyes.
And what about our guest? What is his?
Do you have any plans for
that? So circling back to what I said at first, I think I'm most creative when I have like a time off and a break, some time to recollect and collect my thoughts. So I think this week I'm going to try and do nothing and see where it takes me. See what problems I solve.
On all your
I like
that.
Nothingness.
No, that's good.
I got kicked out.
Here's where we become nothingness.
Got booed off stage.
That's good.
Just get ready for the next quarter. Detox a little bit, have some fun, meet friends.
Nice.
That's my creative endeavor. Try and get my creative juices flowing through other means.
Yeah.
See where it takes me.
And when I return, you'll do a open mic stand up.
Yeah, I've been saying this since the summer now, so let's see if I stick to it
all
this
our
time.
creative endeavors.
Yeah, follow the trend here. But yeah, with some confidence and you guys supporting me, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll support you. And laugh at you at the same
Yeah,
time.
Do you have a link to your Patreon? Or?
Oh yeah, do you have any? So
let's plug my Twitter
again.
again.
We just hit our mark. So
any
social any social medias you'd like to plug?
Only my Twitter. I don't think I have a Facebook anymore. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe I do.
Okay.
But, Twitter at Ajit Punj, all in
and
one
that's
word.
not a G. That's a J at the end.
AJITP.
I messed that up because I'm dyslexic. So, okay, and then you can catch me. I'll probably be streaming my program and stuff at Nabil the Dev on Twitch and YouTube, or I think it's just Twitch. Maybe it's both.
You can follow.
Check it out on both.
Follow my Instagram handle. Nabil will put it in the description.
Well, just say it. Probably will.
Daniel. With 2 L's. And an O.
Is it like Dada Davio or something?
Or it's Daniel Rana.
Just
follow it. You'll find it.
Search for Daniel, you'll see it.
Any social media plugs for you, Nika?
I've been posting some photographs up on Facebook, but I will be posting them on my website, photographs and videos of Pakistan, anikarana.net.
Okay, there we go. That's a good plug.
Okay, well, if that's all, then thanks everyone for joining us, especially Michael.
Wait, I'm not in it.
What? And all right, see you guys next week. Toodaloo.